What's up, guys, and welcome to another channel update for Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. And we've got a lot to talk about today. I mean, a lot. Holy shit, like, so much has happened since this morning. I tried recording this earlier, and I actually, I messed up a little bit, so this is my second attempt at recording for anyone interested in knowing. Fun fact. So I'm a little tired, but I'm going to try and get through this as best I can. There's a lot to go through, so I'm going to sit up and try and get through this. Now, basically, I'm going to be going through... Now, you're probably wondering what you're looking at. So what this is... Well, let me see how I can start this off. First of all, let me start from the top. Today at... I think it was... I don't even remember what time. It was pretty early in the morning. My time. Eastern Standard Time. And... what was going on was the Final Fantasy XIV team had a special presentation live stream on this Nico channel, which is sort of like, it's sort of like a, I'm trying to think, it's like Twitch TV or something. It's basically the Japanese version of that sort of, but it's called Nico TV or something like that, nico.com. And anyway, they had Naoki Yoshida, Yoship on the show, and basically he was showing off Alpha. He was showing off the dungeon, he was showing off, you know, like what you could do in there, the world, kind of like what he's shown in the past, but a little bit differently. So he showed things that you haven't seen before yet. No one's seen the dungeon yet unless you were in the Alpha. So I stayed up, I watched this. Some people participated in it that were in Alpha. I can't give away any details, but I'll let you figure that out on your own. I'll just leave you with this little tidbit. If you pay close attention, and if you know what my character looks like from my videos, and you look close enough, knowing my name from my videos, my character's name, look closely enough if you watch those videos again of the live stream, maybe you'll see something familiar. Just saying. Hint, hint. Look at the info box. So, not saying anything else. Let you figure out what that is on your own. So yeah, this live stream was pretty cool. Pretty cool. So Yoship was not only playing it, but he had two other people, I think 2 or 3 other people, at least 2 other people from what I could see on the live stream that were playing with him. And what they had was interesting, because they had like a high, medium, and low settings that they would play various portions of the live stream on, and they would show like what the game looked like on shitty settings that would be like on a lower end computer, or like maybe the PS3 version, which would be like maybe more medium settings, and then they had the higher settings for high-end PCs. So it was pretty interesting. I liked it. I couldn't understand what the hell they were saying, but of course the visuals alone I think was enough, because they showed off some pretty interesting new things that even I haven't seen yet, and I'm closely tied to this game on a regular basis, keeping up to date with it and whatnot, but we'll get into that later. First, I don't want to take up too much time. I don't want to bore you guys, but I want to get into more of the meat of this. So let's dive right in, and what you're looking at right now is the Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn roadmap for beta to launch. They redid it because they fell back a little bit at a certain point, so they had to redo the roadmap. They've been talking about they were going to redo it for a while now, so they finally released it this morning, an hour, I believe, after the live stream went down. And I'll get more into that later. I'll talk about it a little bit more, and I'll have plenty of links in the description, so you have everything I'm looking at here and referring to down below to see for yourself. So, without any further delays, let's get right into it. So down here, Yoichi Wada, President and CEO of Square Enix, he leaves a little bit of something for the reader to go by, and I'm just going to read it right off for you. So it says, "Allow me to thank you all for your continued patronage of Final Fantasy XIV. Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn is nearly complete. It is solely thanks to your heartfelt support that we have come this far, and for that we are tremendously grateful. On November 11th, 2012, we all witnessed the end of an era. Yet this momentous event was also a prelude to things to come. Your passion and encouragement will sustain us as we devote all our energies to the successful launch of Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. We hope we can count on your continued support in the future. So, that's what Yoship had to say. Now, going down here, I don't know if this is him saying this also, or straight from the team, I don't know, but it says, the beta test roadmap and beyond. On October 14th, 2011, we released a new roadmap for the future of Final Fantasy XIV. Basically, what this is saying is, back when Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn was first announced, this was in October of 2011, when they said they were going to be completely redoing the game, and that's what he's referring to. That was the original roadmap, by the way. This is the new one they redid just today. So it says, in spite of several delays, we have at last, with your enduring support, met most of our major milestones. The conclusion of the 7th Umbral Era storyline has set the stage for A Realm Reborn, and now only the beta test and official release remain. While it's extremely unfortunate that we've had to postpone our schedule, please understand that these decisions were made in order to deliver a quality, enjoyable Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn to everyone. To the fans who have supported us through the years, and to those eagerly awaiting the PlayStation 3 version, today we are releasing a new roadmap for the upcoming beta test. This beta test will be divided into 4 phases, and will initially be restricted to Windows PC version. The PlayStation 3 beta test will begin in a later time. Okay, so you got that 4 phases, PC first, and then PlayStation 3, and we'll get into that later once we get to the actual slideshow. However, given the nature of beta testing, during which we work closely with our customers to improve our products, which is true, they have been. I can firsthand tell you from experience they have been doing very good work, keeping in contact with the fans, the players, and keeping them up to date and listening to everything they've been saying. There may be a need to adjust both the commencement date and the duration of the beta test. Please refer to the Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn beta test roadmap below for more information. And now Naoki Yoshida, aka Yoship, has something else to say. He has a little bit of something to leave on this thing, and I'll read it now. Our commitment to A Realm Reborn. Though the land was plunged into an unprecedented chaos with the coming of the 7th Umbral Era, the day that the heroes of Eorzea, our dear players, will at last set foot in A Realm Reborn draws near. We've received support from players in countless countries across the globe, and we are fast approaching the stage where we can deliver an authentic Final Fantasy experience. To us, the worldwide release of the game on Windows PC and PlayStation 3 is a goal and a new beginning both. As we journey onward, we pledge to do everything in our power to make our vision for the game a reality, and to provide our fans with a service worthy of the Final Fantasy name. We thank you for all your continued interest, encouragement, and support. As always, everything we do will be for our players and customers. Final Fantasy XIV producer and director, Naoki Yoshida, Yoship. Alright, so that whole mouthful was the introduction to Final Fantasy XIV's new roadmap after the Nico Nico live stream went down and was over. So, this is the slideshow where we get into the meat of things. This is where things start to get interesting. So, Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. Let's go right into it. Beta test roadmap. Producer and director Naoki Yoshida. Dates and content are subject to change depending on the development progress and user feedback. Objectives of the Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn beta test. Level progression rebalancing. Battle system rebalancing, crafting and gathering systems rebalancing, user interface refinement, bug reporting and fixing, version 1.0 character data import testing, which I'll get to that later. That's, well, you'll find out once I get to one of the later phases. You'll see what I mean. You'll see what that refers to. And then server stress testing, which is always conducted with these to make sure everything's going smooth. Platforms for Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn beta test, Windows PC and PlayStation 3. Each of the above versions will have its own test schedule. Beta test eligibility. The following players are eligible. A square-enix account is required to participate in the beta test. However, an account is not required when submitting a beta tester application. Now, I don't know the entire specifics of this to explain it to someone, but in case you're confused about that, The gist of it, of what it's saying is, it's saying, however, an account is not required when submitting a beta tester application. So I think it's saying if you don't have a Square Enix application with Final Fantasy XIV pre-existing, I guess you can sign up with the beta and still get in and create one as you sign up. I'm not sure exactly how that works or what that's supposed to mean, but basically if you have Final Fantasy XIV, you have a Square Enix account, you should be able to get in. Even if you stop playing the game at launch, you should be okay. So these are the listed below with the bulletins for people that are eligible. Legacy status holders. So anybody that has a legacy status on their Final Fantasy XIV account, you're going to be in beta. It's not going to be like, oh, you, and you. You're going to be in and everybody else that's left out. I'm going to pull up something else real quick before I continue on, just to confirm this for people that were kind of confused. I did a little researching since I did my first attempt at this recording, and I actually found out that Reinhardt woke up and he found the video and he watched it, and he actually confirmed for everybody that was kind of skeptical because people weren't sure about the eligibility part or eligible part of the whatchamacallit for the legacy status, because everybody was like, oh man, is it too good to be true? So basically he goes in and he says, let me see if I can find, okay, he goes, edit. Okay, just watch the video to the part where Yoship commented on Legacy members. It's confirmed. Yoship said all Legacy members will get to start from Phase 1. No registration selection is needed. And he basically lists the part in the video where because he could translate the Japanese. He knows it. He does this shit all the time. He's amazing. So, also for those who get selected from Alpha, they will try to get more priority in Beta fast, but not only... That may only be for Phase 1. Yeah, so I don't want to get into this, but I just wanted to confirm the legacy thing. So that's why I pulled that up. So that's for legacy status holders. So everybody that's been playing the game that has legacy on their account, you will be in beta at Phase 1, and I think it continues throughout Phase 2, 3, and 4. I think you'll be in throughout the entire thing. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me on that. I still haven't heard from any devs since they're still on their winter vacation or break or whatever. So until then, this is all up to basically what we're reading, how we interpret it. So from what I understand, I think once we're in from the get-go, we're in from the whole thing. And even if you're not, the second bulletin says Final Fantasy XIV service account holders. So basically, if you have Legacy, or if you have Legacy and a service account, which you wouldn't have a Legacy if you didn't have a service account, but basically if you didn't pay for the original Final Fantasy XIV long enough and you're not a Legacy member, if you still have a Final Fantasy XIV service account, you can get into beta also, but at a later date. And we'll get into that as we go throughout the slideshow, the PowerPoint. And then the third eligible, whatever you want to call it, reasoning, would be applicants selected through the beta tester application site. So if you sign up to be a part of the beta, you can also get in that way throughout Phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. So yeah, those are the three ways. You could either be a Legacy member, you're in from the get-go. You could be a service account holder where you get in a little bit later. Or if you're a beta tester application, which is going to be, if you read down here, players can apply to participate in both the Windows PC or PlayStation 3 beta tests through the beta tester application site. And it's on the next page, I believe. It says in January 2013, that's when the beta application will be open for people, which is in like 5 or 6 days or something like that. It's the 26th when I'm recording this, when this all came to light for all of us today, this information. So it's coming up pretty fast, so look forward to that. Beta tester selection. Beta applicants will undergo screening. A Square Enix account is required to participate in the beta test, blah, blah, blah. However, an account is not required when submitting a beta tester application. So, testers will be contacted in the order they are selected. Players in possession of a Square Enix members code that came bundled with Final Fantasy XIII will be given priority for the PlayStation 3 beta test. And I'll get into that a little bit later when I also get to that page. With the phase considering the PlayStation 3 users. So basically, what this is if you own Final Fantasy XIII and you own the original one that you bought that came with the little things, it has to be the original. It cannot be one that came out after launch. It has to be a launch copy of Final Fantasy XIII, they said. It has to have the little... I don't personally have it. I have like a later greatest hits version of the game, so I don't know what the fuck it looks like. But if you have the original vanilla copy from launch, store-bought, day one, it should have something inside where... I don't know if you typed it in yet or if you still saved it. I don't know how that's going to factor in, because some people were asking that. I don't know. But check your copy. Don't throw it out. Don't smash it. Don't fucking drop a nuclear bomb on your copy of it, because I know some people have thought that or even done that, if you have any remote interest in getting into the beta. So that's for PlayStation 3 users if you're watching this, if you're interested. Hunt down your Final Fantasy 13 copy. You can get into beta. Just not at the beginning, at the later date. And like I said, keep watching the video. I'll get into that when we get to that slide. So, like I said before, please access the Final Fantasy XIV Realm Reborn beta tester application site, opening early January 2013 for more information. Beta test phases. Okay, so phase 1 is Windows PC only. Core systems rebalancing. The basic stuff. Phase 2, Windows PC again. Gamepad control adjustments, because the alpha was only using mouse and keyboard. And for gamepad users like myself, this is great because we get to test it out with the new system, with the jump and all that other shit. So that's really cool. And it's going to basically segue into the next phase, which is Windows PC and PlayStation 3. And since PlayStation 3 users don't use mouse and keyboard, they're using gamepad. So since we're testing it first on Windows PC, it'll be ready for PlayStation 3, so they don't have to fuck around with it. So that's the purpose of that order. So it says global testing and version 1.0 character data import testing. So for phase 3, when Windows PC and PlayStation 3 come into the mix, version 1.0 character data import testing will be going on. So it's going to be importing all our characters from Final Fantasy XIV 1.0 into a Realm Reborn. And it's going to be testing to see if there's no bugs, there's nothing missing, there's no problems with like fitting into the game without, having any major issues, or that you can basically imagine what they'd have to be doing for that. So it's self-explanatory. And then phase 4, Windows PC and PlayStation 3 again, open testing. So everyone gets to come in. So basically, we're going to go more into details for these 4 phases. So like it says, please refer to the following slides for more details. So here we go. Beta test schedule. Phase 1. Closed beta, NDA in place. That means you cannot show any of this. Doesn't matter if you're playing a PS3 or PC. It's the same thing as alpha. There's an NDA in place. You have to keep a closed, tight lip on it and only keep it to the forums. And basically, if you've been in alpha, you know how it works. If you haven't, you best read up on the news before you get it, because they can fuck you up if you don't follow those NDA codes, especially if you're a serious player. They can ban your account, take away your privileges, and you probably won't be able to play again. Unless you have to create a whole new fucking setup, which that's a pain in the ass. But anyway, I digress. Just throwing that out there, because there's a lot of people that don't know how to read. Commences mid-February 2013. That's right, you heard that. Phase 1 of the Final Fantasy XIV, a Realm Reborn beta, commences mid-February 2013. Duration is 2 to 4 weeks, subject to change. So that's like a guesstimate. That's, it could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit less, but basically that's what they're thinking, that what's best, at what they want. That's what they're looking at, 2 to 4 weeks. So that's phase 1 debug, 1 to 2 weeks roughly. And then phase 2 is a closed beta, NDA in place again, duration 1 to 3 weeks, subject to change, so that could always change. It's not set in stone. And then phase 3, it's closed beta, blah, 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 NDA. Duration 1 to 3 weeks, same thing. And then PlayStation 3 beta test begins on phase 3. So PC's phase 1, phase 2, and then phase 3 is PC and PlayStation 3 together in harmony playing. Phase 4 is open beta, NDA lifted. So for anyone doing screenshots, videos, any of that shit prior to phase 4, don't fucking upload it anywhere until phase 4, because that's when the NDA is lifted and you basically have the green light. Anything that says open beta, you're okay. If it's closed beta, don't fucking risk it. I'm warning you, don't do it. Because there's some serious shit that I've been seeing people get into with this sort of stuff. So remember that. And that's roughly 1 to 2 weeks. It doesn't say subject to change like the other ones, but I'm guessing they're not looking to make that one as long as the rest of them. Who knows? So it also says the graph is not to scale. Beta test phase 1 is scheduled to commence in mid-February 2013, like we said. The schedule is subject to change depending on the volume of feedback. So basically, if there's a lot of good feedback, it'll go smooth sailing. If it's a lot of bad feedback, they're going to get grinded down with a lot of fucking work, a lot of things they got to fix to make the game better, which is good. I'd rather them take their time instead of rush this fucker out and have a piece of shit product that people are like, ugh. So I rather them fucking take as much time as they want. I don't give a shit, man. The better the impression when this game launches for people that haven't played it or haven't played it in a long ass time, the better. That's my opinion. So, but anyway, there's usually mixed, positive, and negative opinions and feedback in all these types of things. I've been there, I've seen it, I know what to expect. So, hope for the best, but expect a reasonable amount of mixed feedback here and there. Positive, plenty of positive, but also a fair amount of concerns here and there too. It's always going to happen. So, anyway, getting sidetracked, traveling on again. It says phase duration is subject to change depending on the amount of adjustments required. And that's basically following suit with the thing we just mentioned. And then from phase 4 to launch. Alright, so beta test phase 1. Now here's where we get to the interesting shit. Phase 1 characters will be deleted at the start of phase 2. So basically, whatever you create for phase 1 of the beta won't be there for phase 2. You have to create a new character and basically redo everything again. Because they want you to experience the game fresh each time they update and add new things to the game. Data center will be located in Japan. Between 5 and 10 worlds will be available. So with only legacy members being in from the get-go, and then maybe like a reasonable amount of hand-picked beta tester applicationers, that's basically the bulk of phase 1. You're not going to see a lot of other people out there for phase 1 because it's just taking off. It's getting started. So that's why there's only 5 to 10 worlds. All races and genders will be playable. Certain customization options will be unavailable until phase 3. So if you want to play as a male Miqote, female Rogadin, or the Highlander female, or even the Highlander male that we haven't even seen in a Realm Reborn really yet, you can play as all of them and all the originals, so they're all going to be there. But there's certain customization options will not be there until phase 3, like hairstyles, I don't know, different faces, stuff like that. So the level cap will be set to 35. Now, I was a little disappointed about this at first because I was really hoping they would set it to 50 so we can test out all the skills and all that shit to really see if they're balanced, any tweaks. But the reason I say I was disappointed because, well, after reading as we proceed on, you'll see why I don't have that gripe anymore. But we'll get to that when we get to that. So, level cap will be set to 35 for phase 1. Eorzea time will be implemented, meaning morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Currently, the game's set at like 11:30 or 11 a.m. in Eorzea time, so it's always the same time everywhere. It never changes in the alpha. So for the beta, the first time we're going to see the game at night. We're going to see it in the afternoon, the evening, all that. So we're going to see the different lighting effects that they've been boasting about all this time for the first time, which is great. It's going to be really awesome seeing like nighttime with like the new engine and the shadows and the lighting. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. All legacy status holders qualify as testers in phase 1. Now you remember I pointed out what Reinhardt said. People were kind of like iffy about the qualify part of the that sentence. So now that you know all legacy status holders qualify, meaning you are qualified to enter as testers in phase 1. Like I said, I don't know if that means once you're all in at phase 1, do you have to what the hell's that word I'm looking for? Resubmit or reapply to get into 2, 3, and 4 or some shit like that? Or if you're in phase 1 throughout the rest of the whole shebang. That's the only thing I want to clarify. But I'm pretty sure that you are. it'd kind of be silly not to, especially with what we'll be seeing in the later ones with them expanding the worlds. But we'll get to that in a bit. So it says the following will be implemented for testing, and this is the good stuff, okay? Wait until you hear this. Main scenario, partial. Side quest, class quest, full active time events, or aka known as Fate. Hunting log, which really tingled my fucking balls, man, because hunting log sounds like a bestiary. And if you remember in the last fucking video, I talked about that. I even showed it on the forums. And I fucking love a hunting log, man, like a bestiary. Like, I hope that's what that is. I hope that a hunting log is a bestiary, because, I mean, what the fuck else would a hunting log be, right? It's kind of like the one in Final Fantasy IV for the PSP where you, like, fight enemies and you collect all their data and shit like that. That's what I imagine it'd be like, but with, like, updated 3D models. You can spin around and see what they drop and all that stuff. That would be fucking sick, dude. Like, I love that kind of shit. And actually, it lends an extra level of depth to the game that I really like a collection aspect. Sort of like a Pokemon thing. I like a Pokédex or some shit like that. I don't know, but that, I hope that's what that is. That sounds really cool. New Behest, dungeons up to level 35, opening event, excluding CG movies, cutscenes, player search, markets, item search, text strings, high quality items, and materia items, and others. In addition to the above, the following is also scheduled. Fall damage testing, which is basically what they went through was, hold on, let me take a sip here real quick, clear my throat. Okay, so basically what the fall damage is, if you haven't heard about this already, is you can't get hurt when you fall from places, but in return, there's a lot of invisible walls in the alpha. So what they were debating about was, should we get rid of invisible walls? A lot of them, except for the ones where you fall out of a fucking level or some shit like that, like the sensical ones, like, because, like I said, I can't say anything, but there's certain portions of the map where they have invisible walls where there probably shouldn't be any, in silly little places. And they're removing those, plus a lot of others, but in return, they're implementing fall damage, so I don't know how that's going to work. I'm kind of skeptical about it, but I'm really glad they're removing the invisible walls. I can't stand those, so we're going to be testing that in Phase 1, which is great. Alpha feedback revisions and all the alpha stuff they're compiling into beta tests that got, saved and blah, blah, blah. And then beta test Phase 2. Phase 2 characters will be deleted at the start of Phase 3, same old thing. The data center will be located in Japan once again. Between 10 and 15 worlds will be available. So instead of 5 and 10, it's 10 and 15. Because that's what leads me to believe that the legacy members that enter at Phase 1, they get to stay. Because why would they increase the worlds from 5 to 10 if they're throwing out legacy members from Phase 1 for new people and increasing more world? Like, it seems like they're holding on to legacy members from Phase 1, bringing them over again to Phase 2 and the other, continuous phases, and expanding the worlds for more players to come in. So that's why I think that legacy members are going to be in for beta Phase 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and just keep expanding the worlds from new people that you keep bringing in more and more and more. So you get legacy first, a couple hand-picked people from the application, then you get like a couple more people from the application, then in Phase 3, you get the PlayStation 3 people, and the people that have Square-Enix accounts that aren't legacy members, and then in Phase 4 you get every fucking buddy in there. So they just keep expanding the worlds more and more and more. That's my understanding of it. I hope that's how it is, at least. That seems like the most win-win situation in my opinion, but I don't know. I'll keep you up to date in case anything changes or if I misinterpret anything. But anyway, all races and genders will be playable. So, like again, certain customization options will be unavailable until Phase 3. The level cap will be set to 35. Again, gamepad control will be implemented. The following will be implemented for testing now. This is the interesting shit here. Grand Company exchange items. And you remember them from 1.0. Private Chocobos. So I am a little disappointed that Chocobo raising will be unavailable, but I knew this was coming. I knew this months in advance. I just wish it was there for launch, or previous to launch for us to test for launch, because I think it creates a much better first impression for people coming back to the game, or people that haven't played the game at all, or people that were rubbed the wrong way from the media. And I think that sort of thing would be a great addition to give people a really good first impression to the game. I think it's fucking awesome. I think people that wouldn't even touch this game would just pick it up for that aspect alone. I mean, that's why I started playing Final Fantasy XI, just because of the Chocobo raising type shit. So it is unfortunate it's not going to be there at launch or in the beta whatsoever, but it's going to be in the game, period. And that's good enough for me, and I'm excited. So I'm looking forward to that immensely, more than just about anything else in the game. Private Chocobos will be there just for, like, calling forth, like, your personal Chocobo. That's what it means. So we'll be able to have them. Also, along with Chocobos, you'll have additional side quests, additional class quests, additional full fates, and others. In addition to the above, the following will also include gamepad control adjustments and feedback confirmation, alpha feedback revisions part 2, blah, 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 and all that good stuff. Here we go. Now, this is beta test phase 3. This is where PlayStation 3 users want to pay attention. Phase 3 characters will be deleted at the start of Phase 4. Data centers will be located in Japan and overseas. So that leads me to believe that Europe, I think Australia, and definitely North America will be getting, I think maybe South America? I'm not sure. Because I know I have a couple of friends that play over there too. But that's what that is, basically. And they're going to be testing the stress of the servers overseas and all that good shit for people that want better connections and stuff and less lag. More than 20 worlds will be available. See? 20. More than 20. It's not saying there's going to be 20 exact. It's just saying there's more than 20. So it could be like 20 to 25, 20 to 30. Who the fuck knows? But it's a lot. So that means if there's... Okay, let's just put it in retrospective for people that are listening to this and they're like, oh, I'm not going to get in beta. I really want to get in. Like, listen. There's 3 fucking servers. 1 now, I think. 1 or 2 now on alpha that they had, and then they eventually merged them. Now, just imagine how many people got into alpha, okay? Now, imagine that many people for 2 to 3 worlds. Okay? Now, look at the beta, where it's saying it has over 20 fucking worlds. I'm pretty confident that everyone that's touched this game will be included in this fucking beta in some way, shape, or form. So, after reading this, I have no fucking shroud of a doubt that every fucking Legacy member, Final Fantasy XIV previous, prior, current player will be in this motherfucker. So, I'll openly apologize and admit if I am wrong, but I am pretty fucking confident if you're eligible with what I read earlier, you should be able to get into this fucking thing. So anyway, continuing on. All character customization options will be available in beta test phase 3. The level cap will be set to 35 or above, to be determined. And this is what I was mentioning earlier in a couple previous threads or slides or whatnot, was basically, if you start a new character, okay, you're going to be 35's your cap. If you bring in your 1.0 character, you're going to be at 50 from the get-go. And this is why I dropped my initial disappointments about them sticking to 35, is because they were waiting for the 1.0 characters to transfer over. And this is great, because I really think that testing out all the jobs in the game, with maybe the exception of Arcanist, I don't think it's going to be in there yet, because they haven't said it at all, but just being able to test all the jobs level 50 abilities, seeing if they're balanced, if they're not bugged, if they work, if they need tweaks, if they need this, that, and the other thing. That's why I wanted 50. I wanted to be sure everything was checked and tested fully and functionally. So I'm glad that they have that. The to be determined thing. But it's definitely for 1.0 characters. See, it says version 1.0 characters can be used. And this is what I was just saying a second ago in the red below that. In this case, the level cap will be that of the version 1.0 characters. So that reiterates it for what I was mentioning. Testing will commence on the PlayStation 3. All Final Fantasy XIV service account holders qualify as testers in Phase 3. So if you have a Final Fantasy XIV service account, you and PlayStation 3 people can get in. The following will be implemented for testing. Leonesaurus and ul'dah leveling paths. Holy shit, that fucking really gets me hard, man, because I love Leonesaurus. That's where I'm from. That's my hometown. I am fucking dying to explore that fucking region. Like, you have no idea, man. And Thanalan, too. I'm dying to see the new ul'dah and Thanalan region with all the new mobs and locations. It looks really good from what I've seen in the trailer. So, that I am fucking, like, pumped as shit for. So, yeah. You'll be able to experience the leveling pass. Because as you... Like, for the alpha, if you start in Gridania, you get all these class quests you start out with as you level initially. You get all these story quests. And basically, they're saying you get that, but for Leonesaurus and ul'dah in beta test phase 3 for PlayStation 3 and PC users. Additional side quests. Additional class quests. Additional full active time events, which are fates. Pretty short. Additional dungeons, free companies, formation and management, free company points, link shells, the fucking limit breaks we've been waiting for, baby. The limit breaks we finally get to test out in Phase 3, along with materia crafting and others. So we get to see how much they've changed the crafting, the materia melding, because they said they streamlined it a little bit more because it was very fucking... it was very brutal, and it was kind of... I don't know... I felt like it was a little rigid, the system, so I'm kind of like that they're streamlining it more, but there's a lot of people out there that are like, kind of like, oh, I spent all this time doing material, and I understand them fully because I've done the same thing, but in the end, I think streamlining it, making it a little bit easier and accessible to a degree is a lot better, so I want to test that out and see how that works, and I'm sure loads of people have feedback for that. And it says, in addition to the above, the following is also scheduled. Beta Phase 2 feedback revisions, version 1.0 data migration testing, overseas data center stress testing, and performance optimization. So for the overseas and 1.0 characters, they're going to have to test for that. Beta test Phase 4, last but not least. Phase 4 is scheduled to be an open beta, so everyone's coming in this motherfucker. The PlayStation 3 version will be available. Characters created during this phase will be carried over to the official release. Now, what they mean by this is, circumstance may necessitate the deletion of character data. Now, it's not 100%, but it's saying if you have a character in the 4th phase of beta for Final Fantasy XIV and Realm Reborn, if you like that character that you created, I'm not sure if the progress will carry over. I don't know. I'm not 100% guaranteed because it seems like the game would be pretty much finished if they have Limsa, ul'dah, and all that shit already in the game, up to 35 or so. So I guess it would make sense you could carry it over. I don't know if it's just the character itself and then you have to redo everything. I don't know. So don't quote me on that, but I'll update you on that if I find out more. If you have any questions, I'll look into it for you if you're curious. And then more than 20 worlds will be available again. So again, it's not giving you a definite number. Just saying there's definitely going to be 20 worlds, but there's also going to be more than 20 worlds. So it's saying we're aiming for 20, but if there's a lot of fucking people, we're going to go more than 20. So they got everyone covered to get in and try out the beta, especially since it's open on PS3 and PC, which is going to get a fuck ton of people, man. A lot. All character customization options will be available. Version 1.0 characters can be used. The Duty Finder player matching feature will be implemented. The level sync feature will be implemented, which I'm so fucking happy that level sync is in here, man. I swear to fucking God. I love level sync, dude. I fucking love it. I love it to death, man. I totally would fuck the shit out of it if I could, because there's people out there that really do not like level sync. They fucking hate it. They don't think it belongs in the game. I don't know why the fuck they would think that, because basically, if you're level 50 everything and you want to play with your friend, you can't. You'd fuck up his XP and you'd basically be wasting your time. You can't do anything together. What level sync does, it level syncs you down to his level so you can still fight together, even though you're a level 50 character. You can keep all your armor, you can keep all your abilities, all that shit, but you'd level down so you have the same strength and stats as that type of level player, and you get to play with your friends at the same level, and you know, do quests together, do dungeons, story missions, all that shit, and not be like wasting one another's time. So that's why level sync is fucking awesome. I used to use that all the time in 11 to play with my friends and my cousins, and it worked out great. If that game did not have it, I would have had a completely different experience with that game. It would have been a lot worse. So I'm very happy that they're bringing level sync in. And they did mention it actually several months ago that they were bringing level sync in. So I just want to mention that too. So yes, stress testing will be conducted on the housing system. I'm very excited about that because I want to test the housing residential district area of how many people can fit in the residential areas, how many people you can fit into one house. They also mentioned there would be like maybe a room in your house that would be an instance, and maybe they want to test how many people can fit in there. So lots of testing, looking loads of fun. Looking forward to that a lot. And then testing will be conducted on the PvP Coliseum, which I know there's tons of fucking people out there that love PvP, especially looking forward to it in this game. I know Yoship is a huge PvP fan himself personally, which is why he's really pushed to balancing the game around the PvP and making it work and not being like some tacked on piece of shit. So there's the Coliseum. I heard there's a new Coliseum in Limsa like on the water, but there's also a Coliseum in ul'dah. So I don't know if the Olden one got destroyed, or if there's one in Limsa and ul'dah, or if there's one in all three cities, because I didn't see one in Gridania. I don't know. I really don't know. I just know there's a Coliseum in one or two of the cities, and you'd be able to do PvP in there, and there'll be further PvP later. They're just going to have Coliseum for beta, and then other PvP, like Outworld PvP, and like basically complex shit will be after the launch. But for beta, they're just doing the Coliseum stuff, just to see how the inner workings of the system of PvP works within the game. If there's any problems, tweaks, all that shit that needs to be addressed for feedback. And you can find that in the beta forums once that goes live. So let's see what else we got here. Benefits such as early access may be offered between the open beta and official release. Version 1.0 service account holders will be able to download the commercial or Realm Reborn client free of charge. So if you have this game, if you have Final Fantasy XIV 1.0 and you create an account, you will be able to download a Realm Reborn free of charge. Simple as that. You basically own the game. Those wishing to play on PlayStation 3 are required to purchase a copy of the game for that system. So if you want to play on PS3, you have to buy the game again, which makes sense. That's perfectly understandable. Please access the beta tester application site, opening early January 2013, for more information on the beta schedule and application procedures. And that is the end of that. And that was a fucking lot of information. Whew, man. I need some water after that. So we went through the introduction. We went through the Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn updated roadmap for the beta and up until launch. So this is the page I'm going to link in the description if you want to watch the entire Nico Nico Alpha event. Someone recorded it on Livestream, so you can come back here and I'm going to post a link for this site where you can watch the entire thing that this guy did. And what I want to get to last, well, actually second last, to be completely honest, is the little images that I was talking about earlier that was showing off, these little goodies that no one's seen before, in a matter of speaking. So without you know, goading you too much, here they are. Here's the first one. I believe this is Armor, the AF for Armor, the Disciple of the Hand. It's a female Hyur, I believe. Midlander here, wearing the Armor AF, which looks fucking awesome, by the way. The only thing I say with it is I wish the helmet on top, you can't see it from this image, but if you've seen the concept art, you know what I'm talking about. I wish the helmet actually went down. It was like a welder's mask or something for the armor, and it's just kind of like it just stays up. So that's the only thing I don't like about it. But aside from that, it looks fucking awesome. So that's that. This one I love, not because the Hyur and her race-specific gear looks really hot, but the baby Chocobo I absolutely fucking love, because I am an enormous fan of Chocobos. That's what got me into the Final Fantasy series to begin with. starting with Final Fantasy XI, eventually leading to 14 of the other games. So seeing the Final Fantasy XI baby Chocobo brought into HD for 14 looks really good. I love how they gave him like a little mouth now with the new HD graphics. You can actually see that they have a little mouse. In 11, they didn't have that. So it's cool to see that they gave him a little mouth to open now, and they have this little cute little eggshell underneath him, which is kind of neat. So that's the first 3D image of the baby Chocobo in Final Fantasy XIV for the Chocobo raising system that'll be in the future that I mentioned earlier. And this one is pretty snazzy. This is the Weaver AF with the top hat, the cool little snazzy fancy suit with a Miqote wearing it, by the way. Here is the female Rogadin in her race-specific armor. Not digging the face too much, but the body definitely looks really fucking good. I'm more inclined to a Merlwyb face. I think Merlwyb looks pretty fucking awesome. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with her there, but visually the art style looks really good though. I like it. And then here's the male Miqote, which reminds me so much of the Dane tribal because of the cat tail and the little bit of the hairstyle, I guess, minus the cat ears. But yeah, it looks pretty good. And this one is really peculiar. I'm not sure what this is, and I'll explain why in a second. First off, I know this is the Blacksmith AF. And it's the Miqote doing the blow kiss emote. Now, what I want to get to, what I was confused about, is the bomb. That is not a normal bomb. I've seen the bombs in the alpha. I'm sorry, I just got to say it. I've seen them. That is not a bomb enemy. That's either a toy, a creation, a little friend that like assists the disciple of the hand. I don't know. That's just not a wild bomb. That's too cartoony. And like I said, I've seen the bombs in 14 in action. That is not a regular bomb. So that's something special. I don't know what it's for. I don't know what it is, but it looks really cool. And I'm curious to see what that is. And, you know, maybe it's just for promotion's sake, but the fact they put it on the same page as the Miqote and the Blacksmith AF kind of makes me scratch my head and think, but I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but I thought that was a really cool image. And this one is Yoship being dirty, showing off the rear end hiney of the Miqote that we saw just previously from the back end rear view of her leaning over. So people that are into that, yeah, he got a nice little hiney shot. And then last but not least, I wanted to get to the the latest developers blog. This was released a few days ago. I believe it was the 21st, like it says under there. So, scenes from an alpha test. So, it goes, "Hello everyone, this is Fern Hollis, back again with another one of my intimidatingly witty posts for the developers blog. Huh? What's the meaning of this? Unhand me, you treacherous void Please disregard that little outburst, folks, for Hollis is feeling a bit under the weather today, and it has fallen to me, Pinurabi, to do the blogging. Let's hop right to it, shall we? We have a couple of photos to share with you today. First up is a snapshot of Yoship playing the alpha test in his office, having fun chatting with our testers. That doesn't look like Yoship's office, nor do those fetching young ladies appear to be testing the game. Maybe they're taking a break or something? Ah, here it is. The photo I meant to put up. Sorry about that. Moving on, we have something a little while back. It's a scene inside the office taking at the precise instant the alpha version went live. And you can see them all gathered around on the little screen watching the alpha go live for the first time. When it was exclusive to Japan for the initial phases. There was much holding your breath leading up to that moment, and you could have cut the tension with a knife. But owing to the tireless efforts of our alpha testers, we got on to have a successful alpha with veritable mountains of valuable feedback collected. Thanks, everyone. So that was the latest blog. You can see I think that was from, I don't remember what event. It wasn't Gamescom. I don't know if it was Tokyo Game Show. I think it was Tokyo Game Show. That's that image with Yoship and all the girls handing out the alpha invites on the tablets to people. And that looks like Yoship on his computer in the center of Gridania's aetheryte with a bunch of freaking people surrounding him as usual. And then the last one's self-explanatory, like we already pointed out. But oh my god, I can't believe I'm done. I think that's everything. I'm out of breath, man. Like, I'm pretty much grinding my throat here. In desperate need of a bottle of water right now. That was a lot. Especially since this is sort of the second time I had to do this. Since I kind of screwed up my first recording, which was really a bummer. But I took a break and came back and I redid this one that you're listening to now. So, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. I don't... Well, actually... One little thing I want to throw out. It's not going to be in this video. It's going to be in a future video. There's a new alpha video that's going to be coming out probably next week, I believe. Maybe sooner, maybe later. I don't know. But it's a dungeon video, so look into that. You can see it in the link in really shitty quality during the live stream, which I'm going to post in the info along with everything else that you see up top of my tab section for you to view for yourself in your computer. But, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. So, this has been long enough. This is probably my longest update video so far. But a lot of shit happened today, and I just wanted to get that out there as soon as possible to people that, you know, kind of were left out of the loop. So if you have any suggestions, questions, comments, anything at all, leave it in the messages down below. I'll try and get back to as many of them as possible. I usually do. And hopefully you found this informative. If you knew all this information already and you just wanted me to regurgitate for you and hear it again, I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Catch you later, guys.